Good afternoon, Minister Desmond Lee, Minister for National Development and Minister in charge of Social Services Integration, Mr. Janadas Devin, Director of Institute Policy Studies, distinguished guests and leaders from the non-profit, private and public sector, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the inaugural Transforming the Non-Profit Sector Conference. Thank you everyone for joining in this strategic discussion. And I'm pleased that so many leaders are here today from across the public, people, and private sectors. The Tote Board and the Institute of Policy Studies started planning this conference way back in 2019. The questions that drove us then were, how can we future-proof our nonprofit sector? How can we, as leaders from the three sectors involved in the nonprofit space, collaborate and partner with one another to create social good? How can we facilitate and empower conversations on nurturing and building a nonprofit sector more enabled and ready to tackle society challenges and bring about positive social impact? The theme of today's conference is transforming the nonprofit sector. Good enough evidence for social good? Through the curated sessions today, we hope to ignite conversations which will drive the nonprofit sector in the future. There is a saying in Chinese that a single piece of wood does not make a forest and a single note does not make a melody. This illustration tells us that all of us as leaders, be it in the people, public or private sector, have different knowledge and skills and insights, ideas, and solutions to offer. But we are much stronger if we pull our strengths together. Let me explain a little about the theme of today's conference, Transforming the Nonprofit Sector and Good Enough Evidence for Social Good. At Tote Board, for example, we need to understand what are the fundamental issues we're hoping to address and how do we know what is the impact we're creating on the ground. Let me explain. Let's take mental health as an issue. How can we help students who have suicidal thoughts or suffer from depression? How can we help our elderly who are lonely or feel sadness or even feeling that no one cares and they're left behind? Or let's take a closer look at some of the COVID issues. For example, often we're told that frontline healthcare workers need better support. One recent headline says, our thoughts and prayers are not enough. So is it about their physical or mental or emotional fatigue? Or is it we're not valuing our frontline workers financially and their displaced families? And perhaps all of the above. We need to have a better grasp of these and other society issues and to introduce more effective, positive interventions on the ground. We need to have make better sense of the information and have a deeper understanding what the data and trend analysis are telling us. Today, there are many corporates, be it the Capital Group, Redas, and just to name a few, foundations like CFS, and even private individuals supporting many of these issues on the ground. But can we come together? Can we collaborate and partner with one another to create social good? In corporate settings, measurable key performance indicators are key on whether the businesses or projects are doing well. And that means they have to adjust their strategic directions moving forward. I think Tote Board today, we believe that it needs to go beyond KPIs, but truly look at the impact our funding is making on the ground, be it in terms of time, money, or resources. We need to take responsibility. We need to be accountable for our actions, and we need to also understand what are the social impacts on the ground and the outcomes we hope to achieve. Many of you have been leading your organizations for many years. You have made a real difference to the nonprofit community. For without you and your teams, the more vulnerable members of our community would have been worse off. So a big thank you for all that you have done. Today, we need to transition towards an endemic COVID-19 world. And as the world opens up, this presents an extraordinary opportunity for us to emerge even stronger. It requires us to begin and continually ask ourselves, how can we do better for our vulnerables and the beneficiaries and our social causes? At Tote Board, we're here to journey with you on the many different causes. We need to partner and collaborate for more effective and a better future for our children and grandchildren. We need to create a brighter and a more caring and resilient Singapore. Thank you for joining us today, and I wish you a wonderful and fruitful conference ahead. Thank you.